good evening. This is Ellie, a little piece of Ellie's world, coming back to you again on this second video on the diamond painting that I have been working on. It's taking me a little bit longer than usually I'm getting the name because I totally drew it blank. Dreamcatcher and What from Victoria's Moon. This is the first diamond kit that I have gotten from this company, online company. But let me tell you, if you watched the first video on my unboxing and starting it, really liking the canvas and the way it came, the everything, the spacing. Let me tell you, the spacing, I'll show you in a sec, but the spacing of each little square, because I am doing square, and it's not so extremely small in a sense to where you've got to really space those little gems inside the grid. I mean, of course, yes, you do, don't get me wrong, but the spacing is amazing. It's just the right size, and you have a little bit of wiggle room if it doesn't go in correctly. First shot, typically it does. I've gotten a little method to my own little madness, but I'll show you. Give me a second. Let me turn stuff around and we'll get started. Okay, here I am again. Turn things around and here we go. Boy, I've done quite a bit since my last video. Of course, as you have watched my videos before, you'll know that I do not see the surprise or do not see the painting until it's all complete at the end and I remove all the stuff from on top of it. It's kind of been my thing so that I kind of I stay excited about what it's going to be about. But as you can see the wolf's eyes right there. They're like gleeping out at me. But this is what I was talking about, the spacing. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit better. My phone is doing its things. It's like after a certain amount of time. I don't have no timer set on here or anything to turn off, but it turned itself off, the camera, the recording, the minute after a few minutes or seconds or whatever. I don't know what it said or how it's doing that. I don't mess with any of that stuff. But I was saying is that I'm trying to figure out how to do this better so that I can talk to you and record at the same time, or the way I'm recording this, the way where I have it set. Maybe I needed a tripod, go back to the tripod method. But what I was saying is I'm hoping everyone's had a good day, a good weekend. And, I don't know what your weather is like wherever you're at, from where you're at looking at this video. But I'm in California, Northern California, and it's been raining all evening or all afternoon. I guess it started raining in the afternoon. We got home from church, and boy, after feeding the kids and myself lunch, I didn't realize how tired I was until I went to lay down to read a little bit and woke up an hour and a half later, roughly. So I guess I was a little tired. Didn't realize that. And then it's the weather too, the time of the season. I don't know for you, but for me, I noticed that this time of the year can also be a little bit of a downing, in a sense, to where not so much depression, but just kind of like, just want to stay cozy and not want to do too much. If it means getting out of your pajamas or your squishy clothes, where you're nice and comfy. But here, I guess apparently it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow, and it's supposed to be like in the 70s. 80s. Let me see the lighting, it's better there. The 70s or the 80s for the next couple of days, which is beautiful weather for me because you can still wear, you know, summery clothes. Okay, let's see how I can do this. Hold on, just give me a second. I'm going to reposition how to, so that you can see what I'm doing, and at the same time that I could see what I'm doing. Because the way I have this, the phone, what I'm using to record today, is like right in front of me. So where I have the phone is like right where I really can't see where in the heck I'm placing. But you could wear summery clothes, or not so much wintry clothes, but you can wear, you know, pants and jeans, whatever. Not necessarily just shorts. I like this type of the weather. It's bringing the baking itch out of me too. I've already baked 2 different things this weekend, 2 different cookies. I went from Snickerdoodle, the first one, a few days ago, and then yesterday the peanut butter cookies, and I guess apparently they were good. I'm not too much of a peanut butter person, so I did taste them and they were good. I shock myself sometimes. And it's just a recipe, you know, follow the recipe, but you know, you end up adding a little bit more or less of whatever the item is, depending on your own diet. But I just thought I would check in. I'll do some more segments on this because this is hopefully the last. You gotta excuse the noise in the background. The 11-year-old doesn't know that I'm recording and walked into the kitchen to get his popcorn that he's got going. But, well, I'm just going to work a little bit on this, and I've got some paperwork that needs to be done. You know, the stuff that you sometimes procrastinate and you realize, oh no, it's due, I got to mail it. So, got to get that done. But I'm really enjoying this kit from Victoria Moon. I will put the link of where I got this and the name and all of that information for you at the bottom in the description, and also along with a code if you are interested in ordering from them. It's I think like 10 or 15% off. I'm not sure exactly at the moment. I totally forgot. I've drawn a blank today on a lot of stuff. But every little helps, you know, because sometimes some of the paintings, the bigger you get them, which you want, because the bigger they are, the better details you get, they can get a little costly. So every little helps, you know. So I will make sure I put that information down at the bottom, and I will come back probably tomorrow and continue with this whole segment or this video before I post it. So I will touch bases with you later. Ta-ta. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try something a little bit different. Let's see how this... I hope it's not too blurry in what I'm working on. I'm decided to use my holder a little bit different, because now I could see what I'm placing and record at the same time. A little while ago I was trying to record holding it, but I couldn't really see what the heck I was placing, where I was placing it. Now I just have to make sure I'm recording what I'm placing. Oh, I'm such a silly girl. I hope, like I was saying, I hope, oh my goodness. Excuse my background noise. My blue is chasing Charcoal the cat. Oh, that's like an everyday thing. It's kind of funny. My grandson doesn't like that. He's afraid his cat's going to get hurt. But she's very protective over herself. And if anything, I should be worried that my Blue's going to get hurt because, boy, she gets her nails out. And when she does not want to be messed with, she lets him have it. And all you hear is, ark, 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 coming from another room, or if I'm in the other room. And I know that maybe she was sleeping or laying down, trying to get her little cat nap on the couch. This one little spot that she likes to lay down at. And he was probably trying to mess with her. He's a puppy still. And boy, I'm ready for him to grow out of that. This weekend was a big challenge with him. Chewing up stuff or destroying stuff. And then just this afternoon, or actually a little earlier, I will show you. Yep. That whole section of Julian's sock. And another area right there. Oh no, that's just because it's inside out. Yep. His little feline socks. It's like he's got to. You find these little socks like this all the time. It's almost on a daily thing. And what he does is he goes to the dirty clothes bin. Or the clean clothes bin after, or not the bin, but the basket when I'm doing laundry and I'm taking out and putting it in the basket. And there's still maybe one more load that I've got. So I go ahead and leave the basket there and by the dryer. And I don't see, maybe a sock will fall on the ground, when I'm taking it out of the dryer. Or just right there in the basket. He just goes ahead and pulls it out. So not necessarily dirty ones. Stinky socks. It's, oops, I guess I should wash my hands. But that was one of the clean ones. It's wet, obviously now. I just found that before I started recording, before I sat down to work a little bit on this project. I thought it was going to go away and go do paperwork, but I guess I'll work a little bit more. Oops, there we go. Since I've been so busy with baking, getting stuff done, other than, other stuff, that I hadn't really sat down and worked on this. But it's been going real good. I'm excited to see the finished product, of course. I have it pretty much covered up. I could only see bits and pieces as I go along. But I like doing that. It kind of keeps me on suspense. Oops. Some of these gems sometimes just don't want to be picked up. And I do all the little tricks that I learned from watching other videos. The dryer sheets and all of that stuff. They work. But you always still have one that just doesn't want to get picked up. So I hope everybody's doing good. Working on your projects, whatever it may be, whether it's a diamond project or diamond painting project, or sewing, or whatever your pleasure is. It's all good because it keeps our minds away from everyday, issues, everyday problems, those never go away. Those just come and go in different seasons, different stuff. Different season, big or small. We'll always have something going on. That's kind of like when you go to work and you look at your desk and you see all of this pile of stuff that's been put on there for you to work on or that needs to be done, and it's like, oh, but then you gotta think it's job security. Well, that's kind of like the way I put it with life. It's like life security keeps us going, keeps us on our toes. We gotta have a little something going on. Yeah, today was supposed to be Buddha Bowl Day at church for the youth group. They do stuff to kind of help, keep them motivated doing stuff. And it's always good for fellowship, getting the kids involved with doing stuff for the I guess the people, the families. But it got canceled. And I didn't see the cancellation, so we took cookies. But that's okay. Jaime took them in his class. Today was family worship day. It was awesome. JC did a little bit better. He usually will be asking when it's family worship day, because he's 5 and he doesn't want to stay sitting there for that long. He loves hearing music. He loves the worship song, but he doesn't like sitting there. So throughout by the end of the song, every song, and it's only a few songs they play before service, before the pastor or whoever is teaching us our lesson for this, for our series that we're working on. He will ask every single time, "Is it almost over? Is this the last song?" He's funny. And when I say, "Oh, it's family worship day," I think he already finally realizes, oh no, but he did so much better today. I'm so proud of him. Jaime, on the other hand, doesn't. He's got to be with me during that worship time until Pastor sets the young kids off into their own classes. And he loves also the same way. He loves to hear music, and we sing and listen to, worship music here at home or in the car sometimes. We're always playing some sort of music. Something's going on. And he loves all of that, but he doesn't like that time just sitting there, he says. He's getting used to it. They just started in his age, with his new age group, to hang out. Well, they have been doing that, but since he is now at this age, he's got to hang out with me until then. He's getting used to it. But this is coming along. I really like this color. I'm not sure what it's called, besides it being a light teal, because this has a lot of different teals. This is one of my Christmas presents for my son that I'm working on. Not so long ago, he's so different from the other son that wanted to see everything. He wanted to see every part that I was doing. He kept saying, okay, every few days he wanted a picture of how his was coming along. He said, doesn't know whose is whose, but he knows that's one of the whoops ones is his. And he kept wanting to see, And this one, I assumed the same. And I should know better, because, all our kids are different. And so I sent a picture, and I already had pushed send when he texted me back, because I had first text, do you want to see it? Do you want to have a sneak preview? And it was just a little part when I was at the beginning, or I guess about in the middle. And, well, by the time I already had hit send, and I was sending the picture, he sent me a text that said no, like bunches of O's. Well, it was too late. And I sent him a text right away, said, oops, sorry, but I won't do that again. And he said he wants to be surprised at Christmas time. Yeah, they're all so different, my boys. But this is coming along. After this, I am not sure what I am going to be working on. I'm still working on Christmas gifts, but I can't make up my mind for the girls, my granddaughters, because I'm working on the grandbabies now. And on which one I'm really thinking about. I love those little love owls. There's some really, really cute ones on this same company, Victoria Moon, and I'm really, really liking them. They are the cutest little things, and I'm not sure if I want to do each of them, since they share a room, each of them just a different color. You know, they're completely different, the little owls, or a complete different picture. You know, like, I didn't realize that wasn't recording, or wasn't right on where I was working on. But I'm not really sure yet. I still, you'll see as when I go along. Well, I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to get me something to drink, fill up my water. I know it's chilly here, but I want some ice water still. It's nothing but, I really like the taste of cold water. So I will see you in a minute. Hey there, it's Allie Girl. Allie Girl back to you. With getting this Dreamcatcher and Wolf completed. If you were with me with the first session, when I first unboxed it and got it all started, I got pretty close to, I think, like about 3/4 of it. And I took a little bit of a break. Wasn't feeling the greatest, but now I'm back, and let's get the show on the road. Let's get this project completed. Okay, give me a minute. Let me put you on pause for a second and get me all situated and get going here. Hello. Well, this is Allie. I'm back again to finish this segment. As you can see, I've just got a little bit more. After dinner this evening, I worked a little bit more. I figured I would try to get most of it done today. Or at least that was my hopes, but it sure looks like I'm getting it done. Just a little bit more, a few more here, and then I can clean it off and see the final completed project. I am extremely excited. This specific one is for my son that lives out of town. He is my older son. It's kind of funny to say that, but I have 3 older kids, and then I'm raising my two of my grandsons. Not my only grandsons, I have 4, but 2 of my grandsons I am raising as my sons themselves. So when I say my sons, they are included. But it's funny because I say my older ones. Yeah, I'm a grandma and a mama, and I'm me. I'm a little of everything. I'm like one of those people that are, what do they call them, hands of all trades or something like that. But in a sense too, stability and emotional, that's what I mean, like family. Almost done here. I'm hoping that I can get this all completed today. It's already late here, but as you can see, when it gets closer, there's no way I can sleep knowing that I have just a little bit more. And plus I like to run the the cleaner off of it, in there, or my little brush. I have this little brush that I use to kind of clean off all the little dust and whatever falls between the crevices. Just within time, not necessarily that I eat over it, but just within, because I have it out here in the open, and I usually don't, put like a cover or anything when I'm not working on it. And this, I really absolutely need my table. Like if I have a sewing, something that needs to be done that cannot wait, then I put a poster board over my project. That way I can put my sewing machine. This is my little craft table, so this is where I sew also. Which I'll be doing a few other projects coming up in between, so you'll see if you follow my... Ooh, I'm done. Put the last one in. Then you gotta kind of push little areas, a few pieces that I could see right there that are just kind of pushing up. I will use a rolling pin in a few minutes to push any little gems that maybe just get pushed down completely, or maybe I just didn't push them in right, or you know, it happens. And I used a rolling pin. Oop, I noticed there was one that was a little bit different. Hold on a minute. Let me just put this in my little dish. I have a little dish that I keep all the little extras that fly off and stuff. I'm going to put it back in my... It's just a little dish that has a few extras, and before I put these colors away, I will kind of look through them and see if I could see in what bag they go to. This looks like, I don't know, for some reason I don't see that color, and it doesn't look familiar. The purple one, the very light lilac one does, but and the brown, the dark brown. But none of the other one, it's all the same. So I'm just wondering if it was from the last project and maybe some spilt or something. I will take a look in a second. I'm going to put this on pause for a second and just clear all this stuff up. And then let's see my finished. Hold on a second. Voila! Look at my finished dream catcher and whoops. Here, let me zoom out a little bit so you can catch the whole thing. Wow, it really came out amazing. I know that for some reason when you see it on camera, it looks even better than it does in, you know, right in person as you see the real thing. But this one, not on all of them, just on some. But this one is one of those that it looks amazing even right here with my eyes looking at it just straight, not necessarily in the camera. Here, let me zoom out just a little bit more. And this is the little brush that I use. It actually is from a hair cutting kit we used to use in the boys before we got the new kit. And I ran across it one day when I was cleaning the bottom of the bathroom, the sink in there. I was looking for something, actually. You know how that goes. You look for one thing and you find other stuff. And I've been kind of cleaning. I clean my projects as I go along, you know. But as you know, I don't reveal until the end, so I like to do the final. Wow, the colors all are amazing. What I like to do is after I clean it up, before I seal it, I like to just kind of look at every little area and make sure that I, you know, like right here, I see one right here that's missing. I must have had not pushed it down. I guess it would be a better idea is to use a rolling pin before I do this. But I just don't want, like if there's any dust, you know, little particles, I don't want it to get smashed in between. Like if there's one where there's a piece of whatever, you know, little particle, and then I push it in with the rolling pin and it pushes it. I don't want it to go and get stuck in there and then it's harder to get out if I happen to see it. Okay, I'm gonna get my, and just kind of, oh, just little areas where sometimes I could see. I was already looking a little bit. I always, as I work, keeping an eye on the little areas that I already had finished, because sometimes we get a little busy and if we're watching a show or listening to music, or the kids are talking, or whoever's talking, and I miss, I just go a little fast in some areas, and then I like to keep an eye before I seal it, because there's some areas that sometimes I've got them, not spaced very well, especially if they're squares. You want to get them to look proper the best that you can. And like I mentioned earlier, that the spacing on this one is a little bit, it's not as tight, or I'm not really sure what word I'm looking for. Please, excuse that. Bear with me. It's because the squares, on the grid, on the canvas, it's like a little tiny tidbit bigger, I notice, than the actual gem. I mean, very, very little. I mean, it's so little, but it kind of works good for some part, because you're not having so much, emphasis on making sure that all four sides are the same. But then again, you want it to be, the same, so that it looks, you don't have like emptiness, like space, not emptiness, space in between. Like, I will show you what I'm talking about. Hold on. I know I've seen a few areas. My nose is just still getting better from this little cold thingy that I went through. Here we go. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in on the purple here. Maybe you won't be able to see it, but see, like right here, there's just little areas every once here and there. As you can see, it's not very often, where it's just the space is just a little bit. When the gem went in, there's like a little bit of empty space there still. So what I've been doing is just in those little areas, there's not a whole bunch, it's just here and there, I just been kind of moving the gem about just a little bit, so that way you don't see like the emptiness. Yeah, it looks really good. It was just a few little areas here and there. And then also, it depends on the color, I notice. Like, it's more visual. Like, there's a few little areas here. Like, I'll show you. I will zoom in. You see just like the extra little, it's not major, because once you put sealant, it kind of covers that little area. And only I notice it, of course, because I'm the one that did it. I noticed that I tend to criticize my own work a lot more than anybody else would. But I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that. I think a lot of us tend to criticize our own work, whether it's in a craft project, we baked something, we think about maybe we should have added more cinnamon or less cinnamon, or we cooked something, maybe a different seasoning we should have added instead of this one or that, or, shoot, I should have, maybe next time I'll have to use pork instead of chicken, because it probably would taste better. I think we all tend to criticize our own of whatever. Okay, I better let's look at, that's the one I talked about earlier, that it looks like a little teepee, number 6. I have my, it's the number 6. It looks like a little teepee or a tent. Is what I should have probably thought about it first, since we are such campers. If you follow my channel, you'll see there's a couple of trips we're thinking about going one more time before it starts to get too cold. Let me see. I don't think it's going to work on my hand. I'm a silly girl. Just trying to use my hand. Oh, okay. There we go. Let's put this last one in, and then we'll run the rolling pin. I'm just going to put it there. I have a nice quiet house today. My boys are with their uncle for the evening, just till the morning. Got soccer. My 11-year-old plays soccer, so we get involved with that. Games, you know, practice games, events. And then the little one just started Kung Fu. It's 2 weeks now. He really likes it. I'm pretty excited for him. It's something to learn, something different, discipline, learn to work with others. There's all kinds of sports and other activities. You can hear the snapping a little bit. It's funny, you think you have them all pushed down pretty good, but you always somehow hear some sort of snapping. Yeah, not too bad. This one I did that, boy, it felt like I was going to sit there and use a rolling pin forever. It just kept snapping and snapping and snapping. I think that's pretty good. I'll burn it off a few more times. Again, I just want to mention again, this project is called Dream Catcher and Wolf. This is my second one that I've done that had to do with the American Indian design for the dream catcher. Me and my kids, my family on my mom's side are Indian, not from California, but from New Mexico. That's where our tribe is at. It was my grandma's tribe. She's passed on. But my sons are pretty excited. All three of them have seen, all three of my older sons have seen their projects. Not finished. They won't see the finished ones. They just knew what I was working on, because they come and visit, so it's kind of hard to keep it a secret. But I won't dare let them see the finished. They've seen just a few pictures from when I first started the project up until like maybe about halfway through. Wow. I will make sure that when I post this, make sure that I post all the information at the bottom, you know, in the description area. The name again, and where I got this, the code, all of that. I have all that information. And like I mentioned earlier, a code where you could use to get a discount off of a purchase if you decide to try out the website that I got this from. Again, it's Dreamcatcher and Wolf. I got it from Victoria's Moon. It's a 50 by 50 square. So, I am going to go ahead and take off the tapes and get my little bowl that I use. This is what I use. Hold on a second. This is the one that I've been using. Mod Podge. It's just the regular gloss. It's not nothing different. This is what I have been using on my projects so far. I did go to purchase the glitter one because I really want to try that on some little projects that I'm going to be working on. They're stickers actually, but I am got a different plan for them, and I'll talk about that when I get those started and what video. I will make sure that I post a video on those because they look like some really cool, cute little ideas. Simple quickness, you know, during lunch hour you can sit and get a few of them done. And I've got a cool idea. I'll see tomorrow how that idea is going to pan out or not. But I'll talk to you further then. Again, I hope you're following my channel. You will see that a little piece of Allie's world is definitely a little piece of my world. And I welcome you to join in on my creative moments as diamond painting or another projects that I'm going to be working on. I've got some sewing projects that I got to get done in between when I get my next project, my next diamond painting. I plan on doing a few little sewing projects. I will bring you in on that. Also, come and check out my other videos. Meet my kids, meet my family, meet my critters, meet my Blue. You'll be very amazed with him and what he does. Oh my goodness. If you are an animal lover, you'll totally understand, especially if you're a dog or a puppy lover. I have not introduced to you yet the cat. My 11-year-old has two girl cats, the mama and the daughter. Evie is the mama, yes, after Pokemon. And Evie, had her second litter before she got fixed. We kept one of them, and we thought it was a boy, so he was named Charco. But it ended up being a girl when we took him in to get fixed. Ended up discovering that it was a girl, but we kept the name, and she knows her name pretty good. I'm guessing anyway. She is around here actually. Somewhere. She was right here waiting for me to feed her again. She thinks she has to eat all day long. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm glad you were here with me to get this project done. I wish you, God bless. God bless your day, your evening. I don't know what time of the day it is for you, where you're at. This is nighttime, California. It's probably, let's see, about 12:23 at the moment. God bless and peace out. Ta-ta. And don't forget, like and subscribe so you can see what my next video is coming up. Enjoying a piece of Allie's world.